think I might have pressed it. It still says scheduled. I think we're on live. Are we on? Oh, yes, we are live. Hi, guys. What's up? We are live. And again, we're late because Ali took forever to do her hair. Just like last time when I had my last podcast, I don't know what's going on. I'm always on time. And it's like, what the hell? But I'm glad you finally made it. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, it was really hard. I burnt myself with my curling iron, and it was just a whole process. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it took me about forever to figure out how to get the boxes straight. But hey, we're here. I think we're here. So welcome to the Bougie Sports Podcast. I am so excited for today's show. If you have not got a chance, please check out my website. Also, if you haven't got a chance, check out my girls' website and go ahead and hit the subscribe button for both of us because we need subscribers. I've learned that in this business, which is so weird. But hey, but obviously, you guys, I have Ali with me, and I want to get this show started because it is jam-packed, full of fun. Ali, let me tell you something. I was stalking you. I always stalk the people that come on the show. And I am so impressed. Not only did you have interviewed everyone. You're like so smart, like nowhere near am I on your level. You actually make me like, okay, I should be doing this, like asking people the questions I'm about to ask you, but you're like a little Mary Kate. So how long have you been doing this?
So thank you first and foremost. And I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. This is a lot of fun. Anytime I get to talk sports, especially with another Cleveland girl, it's a win for me. So I'm happy to be here. But I've actually been doing the podcast since 2018. I got started doing it. I was living in Hilton Head, South Carolina, and I had no friends. I knew nobody. And I'm like, I need a hobby. Like I need something to do. So I started the podcast in 2018, and it was actually before the Browns drafted Baker Mayfield. It was that draft. So I was just ready to rock and roll and talk some sports. And then I realized, hey, I've got an opportunity here to turn this into something that is a lot of fun. And hopefully I can create some type of positive impact for the overall fan experience. So I'm happy to do it. I love doing it, and it's just a lot of fun.
Well, you're fantastic at it, and
well, thank you.
You really are, and I'm happy to have you on this show. It's really nice to see other females out there doing this too.
Because it's hard. It's hard to do, especially getting it off the ground. And I think if you want to start a podcast, or if this is something that interests you, you have to have discipline. For me, it was, hey, I'm going to go live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on the dot. And I'm going to have a game plan of what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to do my best to be informative yet creative and try to be positive. As we know, as Browns fans, more often than not, they're going to break your hearts and it's going to suck to talk about. But for me, it was, if I can be even remotely positive, that's going to be a win.
Absolutely. We definitely go take all the positivity that we can have. And also in stalking you, I know that we have a couple things in common. Mm-hmm. One, we have a mutual love, obviously for the Browns, for sports, and for dogs.
Life is better with dogs. That's all I know.
It really is.
I don't even know where mine went to right now, actually. Normally, it's like clockwork. So I work from home, mm-hmm. and I work right here where I'm sitting. And she is great all day. But as soon as I get on a meeting, or as soon as I get on a podcast and I start talking, she's got a squeaky toy and she's being bad. But
yeah,
for whatever reason tonight, she's being good. So I don't know where
she wants to act up.
So if you hear her grab a squeaky toy, I apologize in advance.
Oh no, we like squeaky toys here. we're a big fan of squeaky toys.
Life is better with dogs.
It sure is. And we not only have the Browns in common, our mascot is a dog, Chomps. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, let's talk a little bit about I think in the off season and things, I'd like to talk something else besides what everybody else is talking about.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about the mascot, the elf. In doing my research on the elf, which I think this is kind of funny. First of all, I didn't know there was how many versions of the elf do we have? We have the happy elf, we have the mad elf, we have the skeleton elf. Like, what the heck?
A million elves. A lot of elves running around.
There's a ton of elves. And I know that he appeared on the 50-yard line this beginning of the season, which, a lot of people weren't too happy about. But, us as Browns fans are quick to defend, don't talk about our elf, man. That's our elf. He's like, but is the elf really that badass? Like, and do we like the elf or do we like the dog? And why do we have so many?
Yeah, I don't know. And to be honest with you, when I saw it come out, when I saw they did the fan experience, you can go in, you can vote what you want it to be, or the poll rather. I didn't know which one I liked. I'm like, I don't know. It was kind of a toss up for me. I didn't really care either way. I was relatively indifferent. I like classic. I like just traditional, but I also can understand and appreciate the history behind the elf. And once you kind of read a little bit more into it and the significance of the elf, you're like, you know what, this is actually really cool that they're doing this. So I can understand from a national perspective, and non-Browns fans, when they look at that, they're like, what in the hell? Like, what is that?
Yes.
So I get it. But as a Browns fan and somebody who appreciates history, I think it's pretty cool. But I would have been just as happy with a helmet or even a dog. Like, I kind of didn't care.
Yeah.
For me, it was as long as the product on the field is good, which, isn't always the case. That was more important.
Yeah, exactly. They're our circuits and our monkeys. And that brings us to our very first activity. Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
I gotta get my notes ready.
All right.
All right. So I was talking, like, we have so many versions of our mascot. I want to ask you, which version is your favorite? So, Ali, I'm going to give you a couple situations. You're going to tell me which version you like better.
Okay.
Are you
right,
ready?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's start off right off the gates with the elf or the dog. Ali, which mascot works for you?
I'm going to go with the elf. Like
elf?
I said, I like tradition. I think it's a little bit more simple. I like it. I'm going to go with the elf.
Well, as a Browns fan, I can't argue with you. But if I was a fan of any other team, I would. All right, let's go into the second one. What color jerseys would you rather wear, the brown or the orange? Which version of the jersey do you like?
Okay, I can appreciate and love the orange because I think they're different. Really, no other team in the league kind of has the colors. I think we've got that. It's unique to us. But man, like I said, I like simple. I like traditional. I love the brown look. But maybe a brown top with the orange pants could be really cool. But I'm going to go with the brown jersey.
We're going to go with the brown. All right. Which version of Browns games do you like better? Do you like the afternoon games or do you like Monday Night Football?
I am a sucker for a 1 p.m. kick. I think it's perfect because you got all morning to pregame. You can have some fun. And then, you don't have to get, if you're going to the Muni a lot, yes, you do have to get up super early, but depending on where you live, it doesn't have to be an all day thing. And then by, 4:00, you're done, got some beers in you can go have some dinner and then, stick around for the afternoon games. What I don't love about evening games is sure the atmosphere is a lot of fun and you're waiting all day for Sunday night, it can be a lot of fun, but if they lose or if it doesn't work out the way that we want it to, especially on a Monday night, my week is shot. I hate it. I hate starting the week off that way. If they lose at 1 p.m., I've got a little bit more time to recover.
Yeah. And if we're losing on Monday night, we're losing like in front of everyone.
It's embarrassing. And we've been there so many times. So I'm like, I'm just going to 1 p.m. kick. Keep it local.
So do you like the Browns when we play the AFC teams early in the season or late in the season?
Wow, that's a good question. I like early just because you like to get it out of the way. Now, if we're talking about last season, obviously that script is different. You want to face those teams in the AFC later on in your schedule because you're getting Deshaun Watson back. Now, granted, it didn't matter, but when you're looking at the schedule and you know what the suspension was, you're looking at it from that perspective. But under a normal year, kind of knowing exactly what the roster is going to be week 1, I would rather get that stuff out of the way early. I think you can probably expect to play some of your better football early, especially in Cleveland with weather conditions. And as you know, in the NFL, it's a long season. Injuries come into factor. I'd like to just get those out of the way early, and hopefully you can come out on top.
Absolutely. And in the beginning, they're not crying as much from losing 5 games in a row. So they're a little bit better. Do you like the sports coverage of ESPN better, or do you like NFL Network? Which version are you
ESPN because it's more convenient to me. I don't live in Cleveland. For me, I've got ESPN. It's easy to just get it and go. However, I really like NFL Network. The reason I said ESPN is because NFL Network isn't in my cable package, so I really don't have the opportunity to watch them as conveniently. But I like what they're doing over there. I think that they've got a great crew. They're awesome. Good morning. I really like what they're doing.
Okay, so are you? Do you like the version of LeBron James before he took his talents to South Beach when he was just a kid from Akron, or do we like Cleveland? This is for you, LeBron James.
I will tell you this, Yvette. Cleveland, this is for you. Will bring a tear to my eye just thinking about it. My family dog, her name is Ruby Rose LeBron James because of what he did in 2016, what the Cavs were able to do. So I love all of LeBron, and I know that may be an unpopular opinion. I lean more towards later career, post Miami LeBron. I think he was the best player at that point in his career. But I loved LeBron growing up. So I'd like to say both, but if I had to pick one, post Miami.
Yeah. Okay. Do you like Joe Thomas, offensive lineman Joe Thomas, or do you like analyst Joe Thomas?
And again, it's like the LeBron question. Can I say both? No. As a podcaster, as somebody that has interviewed Joe Thomas a few times on my podcast, I love Joe Thomas now. I think he is just as brilliant behind a microphone as he was an NFL player. The detail he puts into what he does, whether it is game day on NFL Network or whether it is on my podcast talking, about his draft experience or his Hall of Fame induction, he puts so much time and effort into everything he does. And I can just appreciate and respect that so much. However, he is my all-time favorite Cleveland Brown. So going back and watching him, man, he was just such a great player. So it's really hard to choose. But recency bias, I'm going to go with post-career Joe Thomas.
Yeah. And I wonder what he would say, because like when he played for us, which was awesome, it wasn't awesome for him. It was awesome for us, but not for him. But now it's awesome for him because he's finally getting recognized for how great he was then. So yeah, there's really no wrong with that. So, Ali, do you prefer the Brown Stadium with a dome or without a dome?
Dome.
All the way. I was nervous for a second because you live in South Carolina. I thought you were like, I don't like it. Because I'm like, oh yeah, right, because you're in the palm trees.
You know why I live in South Carolina? Is because I don't like the cold. I'm born and raised in Northeast Ohio. And after college, I said, peace and blessings. Can't do this. I'm going south. And I will never return to the cold. So when I do go home for holidays, I don't enjoy, negative 30-degree weather. I don't like that. I don't think that's a fun experience. So for me, give me the either a retractable roof or a dome. Yes. And I think it just opens up so many opportunities for the economy. And like, just, you can host, March Madness, NCAA tournaments. You can host so many different things. I think that'd be great for Cleveland. So I am in favor of a dome.
Yes. How many times, like, I live in Youngstown, which is like an hour away from Cleveland, and people will be like, hey, you guys, they'll always call me, do you want these tickets to the game? And it'll be like January, it'll be good tickets. And nah, I'm good. It's too cold. It's not fun. I don't know. I'd rather be I like watching games at home anyways.
Yeah.
So would you prefer the Browns offense with Kevin Stefanski calling plays or without Kevin Stefanski calling plays?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the burning question. And I think I could probably go on for 20 minutes on this alone. So I think when the Browns brought in Kevin Stefanski, they brought him in based off of his play calling abilities. And I'm still firmly of the belief that he is one of the better play callers in the National Football League. However, you can question some of his decision making. There's a lot you can question. But if you go back last year, you had the Deshaun Watson suspension. You're operating under a limited offense with Jacoby Brissett, who I loved, by the way. And I thought he played, had his best season as a professional football player with the Cleveland Browns. And then you go back prior to that, and you've got Baker Mayfield with the injury. Prior to that, you have COVID. So there were so many different circumstances and situations that probably altered a lot of our, just viewpoints of Kevin Stefanski and what he's able to do. But when you actually take a look at what Kevin Stefanski in his offensive scheme is able to do, he simply flat out gets guys open. Now, Baker Mayfield, Jacoby Brissett, maybe they couldn't make those plays, right? And maybe he can scheme open Donovan Peoples-Jones like you wouldn't believe. But at the end of the day, you have to make the play. You have to execute. And I think if you look back over the past couple of the seasons, the failure to execute was just outstanding. Like we just could not connect. We couldn't come down on certain plays. So I think there's a lot of finger pointing, a lot of blame to go around. And I'm not saying he's blameless at all. And I wouldn't be surprised that maybe in the future he doesn't call plays, because I certainly believe you have so many responsibilities as a head coach. And, maybe that does outweigh your elite play calling. And, some would probably say he's not an elite play caller, but look, I like it. I like what he's able to do. And I'm very excited and curious to see what Deshaun Watson can do in this scheme with all of the talent that they have. So I am currently in favor of him remaining with the play calling duties for now.
So you're keeping him behind the mic and covering that beautiful face. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
All right. So are you in favor of or do you prefer the Fire Them All fans or the Super Bowl fans?
I don't know. Look, it's so hard. I would prefer to be around Super Bowl fans because I think they're a little bit more positive. They look to every season, no matter what, they are looking at it, glass half full type of people. That's how I prefer to see things. But realistically, that's never really been the case for us Browns fans. But that's how I like to see things. I think I'd rather surround myself around Super Bowl fans.
Yeah. I'm a Super Bowl fan.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not like a crazy. Well, yeah, I think I kind of am.
I think we are. We're all crazy. We
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
You have to be.
It is a different kind of crazy. It really is.
You have to be a little crazy.
So that's going to segment me right into my second little game, which I'm really excited about. So you said Joe Thomas is your favorite. I mean, come on. Who isn't Joe Thomas?
Yeah, he's the best. He's awesome.
Yeah. So Bernie Kosar posted a picture of him and Joe Thomas together. And I was instantly seen it. I was like, what I would do to be the cream between that cookie. So, which can sound a little sexual, but I really meant it. Like, my God, wow. I would love to be stuck in between the middle of those two. So our next game that we're going to play is whose cream are you cooking?
Oh, all right.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a situation. Okay. And you have to pick who is going to be between your cream.
All right. Okay.
All right. So here on this one, so from this choices, you can only choose from Browns players, current or past. Okay. So you're in the end zone, right? Mm-hmm. You're getting ready to win the game. You're wide open. Who's throwing you the ball? Whose cream are you between?
All right.
Now you're allowed to pick past or current.
So I can go past or obviously current. Well, I am. I guess I am gonna go. I got to go with Bernie. I think when you think of,
you don't have a lot of choices, and
you really don't. You do have a lot of choices. There are a lot of names on that list.
Yeah, that's true.
In terms of capability, I'll go with Bernie.
Okay. Wait, you get one other person.
Okay.
I know. This is kind of hard. You have to pick. You have to be the cream between two.
Oh my God. Okay. So another quarterback, right? We're on quarterback. Okay. Man. Again, there's a ton of names to choose from. And I'm gonna stay old here. Give me Brian Sipe.
There you go. So I forgot to mention this. You are not allowed to repeat any of the other names that you have chosen for now. So okay, Brian Sipe's out.
Yep.
And Bernie Kosar is out for the rest of the questions. Okay.
Got it.
All right. So you're going out. You guys just won the big game. You're going out. You're hitting the town. You want to have the best night ever. You can hang out with two Browns players, retired. I mean, current or now. Who are you going out with? Who are you sitting between at this table?
All right. So this is hard. This is so hard. So we're going out. We're having a good time. Basically, who do I want to have a beer with?
Exactly.
Okay. Joe Thomas.
Two.
Easily.
Well, Joe Thomas is off now for the other one.
You already picked him, right? You already picked him.
No, you haven't yet, though.
Okay. All right.
No,
So
you really have Bernie Kosar and Brian Sipes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Joe Thomas, I think would be cool. And look, I don't think this player was like a great. I don't think he was a great player, but in terms of person that I think would be fun,
yeah,
give me Baker Mayfield. How fun would that be? Like, I think that'd be a great time.
Heck yeah! All right, you guys are going out. Okay, Ali, you are on a long flight, and you're sitting between two former Browns players or current Browns players that had a little too much to drink, and they're spilling all the tea. So you get to pick two players. I can't pick anyone you've already had for this long flight. Who would you like to hear all the stories in the tea from?
The drama? Oh, I would love to hear the drama from Odell Beckham Jr. Yeah. I would love to sit next to him. Now, I'm a little disappointed that I already picked Baker Mayfield here because I'd like to hear his side of the story. So I'm not, obviously I can't. But another one that I think just first off, these two together, I think would be a lot of fun on a flight, a little drunk, spilling the tea. Give me Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. Great time.
What a duo there. They ever tell you all of it.
Everything.
You're hearing it all. You're hearing it all. All right. Now, this is changing up a little bit. Now, you're the quarterback, and it's your chance to win the game. Okay. So you look around. You have two people open, but they have to be wide receivers. And you can't pick anyone you've already chosen, which I don't think you've really chosen any wide receivers. So you're good on that. Who are you throwing the ball to?
And I can go way back here, I suppose.
Yeah.
In terms of pass catchers, there's a lot that I'd like to throw to that I think would be really cool. And I think that like quarterbacks, you've got kind of a laundry list here as well of people that you could choose from. One being Josh Gordon. I would love prime Josh Gordon, who I think was just an outstanding player. I would love to throw a touchdown pass to Josh Gordon.
Yeah. He's catching it.
He is. He's coming down with it. Yeah,
for sure.
And maybe a little recency bias here, but I just really appreciate this player. He kind of gives me Nick Chubb vibes, but Amari Cooper. I love this player. I love and respect his game and his route running ability and his ability to create separation, just come down. I think he's super reliable. So give me Amari Cooper in this.
Yeah, I like that, and he does kind of give you the Nick Chubb vibes.
He does.
Like you can tell what kind of.
You know what I like about it is you've got Josh Gordon that's going to kind of just make that crazy catch, but also in that situation where I'm throwing a winning touchdown, Amari Cooper, he's not going to go like celebrate and be obnoxious about it. He's just going to be like, all right, cool, we did it. I feel good about it, and I like how humble he is.
Yeah. Okay, well let me open that up to any player in the NFL.
Okay, so same question though.
Same question. Yeah.
So receivers. I mean, we can go way back here.
We'll do any player current. Let's do any current.
Okay, any player current. Because I'm like Randy Moss, Jerry. Yeah. I would, in terms of receivers, there's some good ones. I suppose I would like to throw a touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill. One, because he's really good, but two, he's so fast. I think it would be so cool to just launch it, like 70 yards to Tyreek Hill. He's up there. And then I know he was injured this past year, but I think it'd be really fun to. No, I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna skip that one. I was gonna go with Cooper Kupp, but I'm gonna hold off on that. I think that would be a lot of fun too, because he's again Mr. Reliable. He's like Amari Cooper. Yes. You've got Tyreek Hill that can just go down the field. Actually, I am gonna take Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, kind of opposite type of players to opposite types of personalities, but I think that'd be a fun duo.
Yeah. Okay, this is the same. Going on the same theme, but change it up just a little bit. You are getting to pick the next draft position for the Browns. Mm-hmm. So for the next 5 years, you only get to pick two positions.
Okay.
So what are you drafting? What two positions are you drafting for the next 5 years in the draft?
Now, is this question based off of their current needs?
Yes.
All right, current needs, and assuming
we're building back up.
All right. So I would most assuredly take a very solid edge rusher. I think that's been missing this whole time that they've had Myles Garrett. I think you can go back really since they drafted him in 2017, and you can look at the guys that they had opposite Myles Garrett, and they were a lot of just big-bodied run stoppers. Jadeveon Clowney was a great run stopper. You can go back, you can look at guys like Olivier Vernon, but you never had anybody that was relatively to the level of Myles Garrett. So that would be probably one of my number one priorities is locking that down and getting a number one, or, in this case, number 2 defensive end to put opposite Myles Garrett for the remainder of his career. So that would probably be number 1. I'm also of the belief that you can never have too many corners, just based off of the injury concerns as it comes with that position in the shelf life. But I am going to pivot here, and I'm going to go with receiver. I don't think that the Browns have been able to identify receiver talent that well in the draft as they have other positions. I mean, you can go back. Let's talk about Anthony Schwartz. David Bell last year, he didn't have a great season, really to the expectation that I think a lot of fans had. I don't think that they were really able to identify really good.
Don't you forget they drafted Corey Coleman.
Oh, the best. The best. Corey Coleman.
So good.
But you're right. You can go back to several different regimes, and they have never been able to really do that well. So I think if you can get somebody at that position that's just going to be like consistently good, top 5 receiver in the league, maybe for the next 5 or so years, you've got to lock that position down.
Absolutely. I love those 2 answers. That was really good. So one more in this one. And this is just from a coach's standpoint. And this doesn't have to be the Browns coaches. If you could just sit down and talk to 2 coaches and just get everything that you can get for them, who would you like to sit with?
All right. So I have to ask before I answer this, is this just like life lessons, or is this to learn about football?
Let's do life lessons.
Okay. All right. Because I think the obvious answer, if I'm trying to learn everything I can about football, I'm calling Bill Belichick number 1 right now. So we'll deviate off of that. I would love to sit down with Andy Reid. I think that guy, one, obviously he's a football genius. He knows what he's doing. He's high up on that list. And I think that he would just be a lot of fun to sit down, have a cheeseburger with. Like, I'd love to have a cheeseburger with Andy Reid. And next up, actually, I would love to sit down and learn from Dan Campbell. I love that guy. I love his energy. I love his passion. I love everything that he stands for. He can get me ready to run through a brick wall. So to be able to have those 2 guys, you got somebody that's super chill and somebody that's super high energy, put them in a room. I would love to be able to sit down with those 2.
Imagine everyone bouncing.
Oh, it's so much fun.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Yes.
All right. Well, that was great. So you survived. It wasn't too bad, right?
No, that was good. That was good.
That was awesome. I had the one more thing for you, though. So I'm so excited to have a female on the show. It's awesome.
It is great. Isn't it?
When do you come to Cleveland a lot? At all during
the season? I was able to come home. So I work from home in my full-time job. So I do have the luxury to come home and, stay a couple of weeks in Ohio. The issue for me is I've got a golden retriever that doesn't love riding in the car. So it can make it a little bit difficult. But, over the holidays, I'm home typically for a few weeks, maybe a couple times throughout the year.
Oh, next time you're coming home, we're getting a drink together for sure.
Sounds great.
You have to come home. You come home to see any games?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah,
Are you going to the Hall of Fame?
Maybe, possibly. Not confirmed yet, but maybe.
Yeah, I think that's going to be so fun. I'm looking forward to that. Well, Ali, I thought that since a lot of people that watch this are men, I thought I have a lady on the show. I have a couple questions out there. I looked up what are questions that men want to know about women. And I have a couple that I want to ask you and see what your thoughts are and maybe just help and enlighten the audience a little bit.
Let's do it.
Get out
there. Dive in.
All right. So what is the first thing you notice about a man?
For me, it's a smile. In terms of a physical attribute, I notice a smile right away. And I think you can tell a lot about a person's smile. People say you can tell a lot about the eyes, and I think that's true too. But just a genuine smile, that'll do it for me. But, just in terms of a non-physical attribute, how funny they are. If you can't make me laugh, I'm out. I'm out the door.
Right. 100%. Like, it doesn't matter what you look like if you're funny. You have that's just thinking about it. It really does it.
That's my number one thing. Look, I try to be as happy and positive as I can just all the time. And I like to laugh. It's my favorite thing to do. And if you're not on that level, it's not going to work out.
Yeah. So how soon do you think a guy should call you after getting your number, contacting you?
I guess it depends on the situation, right? If
Mhm.
it's we just met at a bar, yeah, you can. I think the next day is appropriate. Don't get a hold of me that night. Probably because I've had a couple of beverages or whatever. If you get a hold of me the next day, the next afternoon, 2, 3, 4 o'clock,
Yes.
golden. Not in the
Yeah.
morning, not late in the evening, but like a nice afternoon would be
How's
great.
your day? Hope you're having
Yeah,
a great
that's
day. The
nice. That is nice.
best. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And
Wonderful.
yes, I love that. I love that. Do you like when guys are like direct, or do you kind of like the game?
No, I don't play games with me. Here's my thing, and I don't know if this is the case for most women, but I've been on some really bad dates. I mean, some really bad dates. Um, and here's the thing for me is I'm dumb, I'm stupid, and I'm completely oblivious. So if you're playing games or giving me subtle hints, I will not pick up on it and convince myself that you don't like me. And I'll ghost you because I've convinced myself you're not interested. So if you're not
Yeah.
direct with me, I won't know what you mean.
Yeah. And confidence is so sexy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Just go
for
out and
sure.
say what you want. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Don't beat around the bush. Just go out
Yes.
there.
Be
And
direct.
I mean, don't take it too far on that level.
Yes, I've
What?
seen that before. That's not pretty either.
Yes. Um, what can men safely compliment a woman? What do you think is something that you can get away
Well,
with?
I think sometimes it really doesn't matter what you say. It matters how you say it. Um, I mean, if you say, "Hey, you have nice eyes," but you say it in a really creepy way, you get red flags. You get the creep vibe. So I really think tone is the most important. But I think anything like, "Hey, you've got a great smile. You've got a great attitude." I think that that's really a safe bet or a great sense of humor, things like that. But once you start really focusing on, especially when you're first getting to know somebody, on just physical attributes, might not be the best thing to do.
Absolutely. And don't send like boob emojis either.
No, yeah,
I mean, come on.
grow up a little.
Yes, that happens to me. Is it ever okay to send a dick pic?
No, no,
It isn't.
no. I don't want to see it. I don't need to see it.
Yeah. Why?
And
Don't do it, guys. It's not. Nobody wants.
it's not. And you know what I don't understand is, especially when you're first dating or even just texting somebody that you haven't met, absolutely not, totally off limits. But what blows me away, and this happens more than I think we as women care to admit, is just in your DMs of people you've never talked to. I mean, Yvette, I don't know what your DMs look like, but I know they can get a little crazy on my end. And just scrolling through, and I will have people messaging me that I've never interacted with, I've never seen or spoken to in my life, and they will send a picture. And it
Yeah.
is appalling because I'm like, what are you thinking? You think I'm going to see this and be like, sweet? Give me some of that. No, I don't
Yeah,
get it.
that's a no. It's almost as bad. It's like, hey, would you like to go out? And then their picture is absolutely nothing. Like,
I don't.
Who are you?
What is happening? I know it's
I will
ridiculous.
not like. Oh, meet me here. Or what? I don't even know who you are.
It's appalling.
Yes.
Appalling.
And how important are looks to you?
Looks have actually never been my number one priority. I think for me, it's all in the way that somebody treats me. Look, I was single for a long time and I was career focused, and I learned how to be with myself and be comfortable in my own skin. And I had always said to myself, if somebody's not going to treat me right, I'm going to treat myself right. I'm going to sit back and wait until the right guy comes along. So for me, I never approached it as just going after, the hottest guy. It was who can be, who can be fun to be around, to be really kind and outgoing, and who can I have fun with? That's always been the case for me. But then of course, they do matter. Looks obviously do matter. You can't be, with somebody nasty, but for me personally, and I can't speak for everybody, but for me personally, just attitude and personality always was the number one thing that I noticed in somebody.
Yeah, and that's what makes someone good looking or bad looking too. Because I know
Yep.
in your experience, you've had a hot guy get really ugly quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so quick.
Yes.
I mean, in the blink of an eye.
Yes.
And like it goes back to saying sometimes it doesn't necessarily matter what it is that you're saying. I mean, yes, it does. It does matter what you're saying, but the delivery on how you're saying it, the tone you're using, and really just don't be weird. It's not that hard. So my boyfriend David, our first date, I was telling him about all of the horrible dates that I had been on. And he said, okay, so if I keep it relatively normal, we'll be good. And I said,
Yeah.
that's all you have to do.
Yes.
And so we're smooth sailing now, him and I. So he's kept it normal, and I appreciate that. But it's really that easy because unfortunately, like you mentioned, people can get ugly really, really quickly.
Yes. And it's always best to be your genuine self.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
stay true to who you are.
Yes. And you notice like too, like there is a such thing as big dick energy.
Uh-huh.
Like that is a for sure thing.
Yeah.
Because like you'll see some guys are like, holy crap, like your girlfriends will be into like what? And then you'll be like, I get it. What
Uh-huh.
is it? What gives a guy that energy? What do you think? Is it confidence? Is it
Yeah, confidence. You can throw in several different things here. Confidence, arrogance in some instances. But it's all in how you carry yourself, I suppose, and just having that way about you. I mean, like Baker Mayfield, for example, like he kind of was that person where for whatever reason, he had that confidence / arrogance to him,
yeah.
whether it was justified or not. But some people just have it. That's never worked for me. Never enjoyed that type of
It
personality.
worked for me.
Yeah, and to their own, like, it does. But I don't know. I guess it's just confidence.
And it's different. Like Baker Mayfield had that. Like Johnny Manziel, for example, he didn't have big dick. Like I would have been like,
Oh yeah, he would have just
like he doesn't carry that. Like I think like OBJ probably has a little bit of that type of energy. He definitely got the girls. Oh my god, our Cleveland guy for sure.
Yeah, it's again. I think it just comes.
Travis Kelce
Travis
had
Kelce.
the most big dick energy.
Seriously though, that guy, and I don't know. I like Jason Kelce actually.
Yeah.
I like his personality, and it's funny because I can see like my cousin, her and I, we were talking about the Kelce brothers, and one of us is like, I'm more Jason Kelce, and she's like, well, I'm more Travis Kelce. So
Yeah.
it's just funny to see how different we as women can be in terms of that personality and that energy. But yeah, I lean more towards Jason Kelce because.
But do you think it's because you're in a Jason Kelsey stage of your life? Because right now you said you're with your boyfriend. Right now you're happy. You're in smooth sailing. Now, if you were just broke up with your boyfriend, would you be still with Jason Kelly, or would you?
No, that's such a good point. I suppose I had never really thought of that. And we go through phases. We go through stages of people that you're into. So look, right out of college, probably I would have been like, this guy is so cool. He's so much fun. But you're right. That's not what I want right now.
Right. I used to think that Tom Brady was so hot until he got with Giselle and like grew the hair and got all the Botox and did all that. But who is really freaking hot, I must say. Sorry, guys. I won't get it. But Jimmy Garoppolo, I was going through reels the other day, and I was just like, holy moly.
Just what a handsome guy. Just what a handsome guy.
Yeah, dude. You could have been a model. Like, how is that fair? Like, you could do, and you look like that. You know what I mean? It's not fair.
The Raiders just posted I don't know if it was like media day today, but he was in like an all black suit, and his hair's all done. And I heard in the background there was a male fan yelling, "Hey Jimmy, you're really handsome. You're just a handsome guy." Because he is. He's just a handsome looking guy.
He really is. I think Vegas. I think he's going to be good there. I think that's a good
landing spot. I really do. And to be honest with you, I hate what Vegas is doing.
As far as their stadium,
no. Just like the development of the team over the past 4 or 5 years, their draft picks, I think, were just reaches. Back to like Alex Leatherwood, just some of them just didn't work out, and I never really liked the path that they were on. But now that they've kind of realized, okay, we got to sell some things. We got to get rid of some of these assets. We've got Devontae Adams. Let's bring in Jimmy Garoppolo. Look, I don't think this is going to be a good team, but I think that they had to have an open and honest conversation with themselves on who they are and what they're going to be doing. So I think they had to be humbled a little bit. But I agree with you. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, that's probably a really good landing spot for him to kind of have a little bit more of a career resurgence. I think he can win some games out there, and we'll see what his next destination is, whether it's there or somewhere else.
It just seems weird I mean, I guess Vegas, in one way, it's like a perfect place to have a stadium. In another way, it just seems, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I know the Super Bowl's going to be, it's like,
I don't know. I almost went to a game when I was out in Vegas. I think it was Baltimore was playing in Vegas. I was like, well, this might be fun. I was there for a work trip. But then I was like looking at everything. I'm like, this whole experience is just so much. It's so much. So I don't know. I think it's yet to be seen on what the NFL experience is going to be in Vegas.
Yeah. And then it just makes me like very heartbreak still for people from Oakland. Like that was their team. Like it seems so fake. I don't know.
It doesn't seem real.
Yeah, like any of those teams, like any team out in California, for example. And I'm sure there are real fans out there, obviously. But when they like the new ones that come out there, I don't know. It just seems Hollywood.
It does. Yeah. And you're right. It's when you pull a team, and us Browns fans, we know this, when you pull a team away from their city and you kind of are like, well, who am I going to root for now? Now what? Vegas just doesn't scream NFL to me yet anyways. Yeah. I think it probably will in the next 5, 10, 15 years. But right now it just seems so like new and I don't know, a little generic.
Yeah, it's like the XFL or something. Like we were going to Vegas to do that. Can you imagine if they brought the Browns to Vegas? Like
no,
they took the Cleveland Browns to Vegas. We're just like, what?
But to their credit,
so
I mean,
crazy.
When you look at the Cleveland Browns, the Browns fit the city. That blue collar type of fandom and team. The Raiders do fit Vegas. I will say that. That is, if you're going to move any team to Vegas, I suppose the Raiders were probably the ones to do it.
Yeah, I guess so. And the Super Bowl's there. Isn't the Super Bowl coming there this year? Have you ever been to a Super Bowl?
I haven't. No, I haven't.
Yeah, I think when the Browns win, I'm like thinking of one.
Maybe to that one.
Yeah, let's see if that happens between that. So, what do you guys? So your podcast is on tomorrow?
Yes, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then in the during the season, we do a second show on game day. So whether that's depending on when kickoff is. If it's a 1 p.m. kick, we'll do a post game. If it's a late game, we'll do a pregame show. But we do every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Who's a favorite person like that you've interviewed?
Oh gosh, so we've had some really great guests. And even going back to when we really kicked things off, our first guest was Porter Gustin, former defensive end of the Cleveland Browns. And we were just losing our minds like, oh my God, we've got Porter Gustin on. And he was great when he was with the Browns and, super generous to come on. But from that point, we were able to talk to Clay Matthews. Then we got Joe Thomas, Bernie Kosar, Eric Metcalf, Kevin Mack, all of those guys. And it is so humbling to talk to them and get their perspective. And they're so much fun. Not only are they just great guys and great football players, but like they're so informative. They can teach you so much about the game. So if we're looking at players, I love talking to Joe Thomas. He is one of the smartest people I have ever talked with. He's amazing. So I guess
that's on my bucket list to interview him.
Oh my, it's
going to happen. I've already started writing the interview.
Whenever I talk to Joe Thomas, we talked to him 3 times. I get off the podcast. I'm like exhausted just because he's so smart and having to keep up with him is really a challenge. So I got to go with Joe. However, we've also, I've interviewed a couple of weeks ago, Mary Kay Cabot. That was so much fun.
Yes, I love her. Queen.
I love talking to media members as well. Because sometimes with former player, with either current or former players, they're going to give you some player speak. They're not going to give you anything. But media members, they're constantly behind a microphone. They've got a little personality to give you. And those are a lot of fun conversations to have.
And that's really nice that they take the time out to talk to doing the podcast like that. I love that.
So much fun. And we're just so so humbled to be able to talk to him. And some of the current players we've had, like Demetric Felton, D'Anthony Bell, Tommy Togiai, getting them, that's a ton of fun too, because they're so eager to be great at what they're doing. And they're so excited. And you can just see the passion kind of radiating from them in those conversations. So it's so much fun to talk to them.
I wonder what I would ask Mary Kate Abbott. I mean, I could never ask her if it's okay to send a dick pic, could I?
I mean, no, fine.
You never know, though. Maybe not on live.
Yeah, maybe not on live, but
Yeah.
but I don't know. She's
Could
great.
I ask Joe Thomas? Is it
Oh, for
okay
sure.
to okay? See,
Sure.
then I think I could do it then. I think I would be able to do that. I don't know if I would ask him that, but I'm just saying that's something I could.
You can throw it out there.
Thomas, I'm so happy to interview. Is it ever okay?
Could you imagine, like, opening line? That's your question to first ballot Hall of Famer Joe Thomas.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Well, I bet you have to be the first person who ever asked him that. You never know.
That's true. Yeah, make history.
Well, there's people that have give us comments, but thank you guys, but I can't read them. Only because I'm sitting far back from my computer and I just got into my glasses and they're not right. So I feel bad. I don't want people to think, oh my God, I don't know how to use this shit. I'm like a way beginner and I'm with the pro.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be able to see all the comments and give them all attention when you're doing this. Because when you're podcasting, your mind is going a million different places. You got a million different things popped up on your screen. So yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I can't tell. I think we've been on for, has it almost been an hour? 45?
We're at 46 minutes.
Oh, 46 minutes.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Thank you so much for coming. That was so fun. You have to come back again when we get closer.
Yeah, anytime. Anytime.
Yeah, I would love to. And definitely we're going to get a drink.
And sounds good to me. I am always down. I am always down for an adult beverage.
Yes. All right, guys. Make sure you guys tune into, I love the name of the podcast, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Here
we go Brownies podcast.
Can you say "Here we go Brownies"? Here we go without saying "hoo hoo"?
It's hard to do. It is hard to do.
Really, it really is. Try it. All right, thank you guys. Thank you, Ali.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
And I'll probably be trying to stop this for 10 minutes. I'm like that old grandma. Like, what did you say? All right, let's see. End. Okay, because I have to go this way. End.